Hey, today I am going to show you how to add a second layer to a page in your art journal or a part of your canvas or whatever you've been working on that you just have kind of a base layer that you just threw some paint on. So in another video, I kind of showed how to move past the fear of the blank or the white page because it can be paralyzing at times. And so I take one of those pages from my art journal and I show you how I'm going to add another layer, stuff that I actually like, but I'm not starting from scratch. I'm working on top of that. Now you might say, oh, that's foolish. It's a waste of paint. But honestly, some of that paint shows through, even though I end up covering the entire thing. So it may sound counterintuitive, but I really believe that having that first layer, one, helped me get started because it's like, oh, I'll just add some paint on top of this and see how it reacts. It kind of gives you something to respond to right out of the gate. And for me, it was like, I'm not sure I like any of it, so I'm going to paint over the whole thing. Or it kind of did after I got going. So I think you can do this with very limited supplies like I did. Kind of challenge yourself a little bit that way so that you're not, trying to fill the whole page with a lot of color, but like pick a few colors. And I tend towards neutrals, which is what I did at this one as well. And then just kind of, I use more circles and marks and things like that you'll see in the video. And I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I wanted it to be very intuitive and very quick because this is just a page of my art journal. It isn't, it isn't a canvas that's going to hang on my wall or anything like that. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this and I hope this inspires you to add that next level layer to something that you're working on. So let's get started. Okay, so we have our background that is already started, and actually, honestly, it's fairly ugly. So we're going to see what we can do just to do some simple basic colors on top of it. I'm going to tell you what I'm using. I'm going to use a very limited palette, titanium white, raw umber, Payne's gray, and yellow ochre. I also have a little basket of supplies. I'm keeping it really simple. Some paintbrushes, a brayer, a color shaper, which is this, and a palette knife, and also a catalyst wedge. Well, I also have a pencil, and I also have a Stabilo marker and a tool that you can make marks with. So these are not necessary. Some alternatives would be like a credit card. I'm using these tools right here for scraping. You could probably use any kind of pencil. A brush would probably be helpful, but there are other ways to spread paint with, and a brayer is not necessary either. I'm not even sure I'm going to use it, but these are the things I wanted to keep it really simple. I'm going to fast forward it because basically all I'm going to be doing is applying paint to a place that I feel like, oh, I like this page, but I'm not starting with a white page, which is super helpful for me. So I'm just going to get started, and if I do anything or use anything other than this, I will definitely pause, slow down, and let you know. Now, also, don't be surprised if a lot of this ends up getting covered because for the most part, I don't really like any of it, but I do like the idea of it creating a background, and some of those colors may pop through. Okay, so let's get started.
So goodbye for us. You have to say it, baby. And us and Texaco's. You wanna try, baby. I know you can. I know your heart, and you will figure out you love me now, 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 now. You know I gotta leave you alone.
myself to a really messy place. So I just wanted to pause for a second and tell you that I'm just going to keep pushing through. My first hunch was to go back and pull in some of this teal, but I think I'm just going to leave it and I'm just going to just use what I have and see what can happen. So I'm going to keep going and I'll fast forward some more.
Know your heart, and you will figure out you love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave. You love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave. Goodbye for us. You have to say it, baby. And us in Texaco's. You wanna try, baby. I know you can. I know your heart, and you will figure out you love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave. You love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave.
Okay, so there you have it. Just a simple abstract working in my art journal using a background that was already there. And as you can see, it was mostly covered up, but at the same time, when I drew the circles into the wet paint, the colors from underneath did show through. And so I think that kind of goes to show you that even though it looked ugly to begin with, like just these random colors all put on just slapped on a piece of paper, it gave me a starting point, and it also gave the pieces of the color that was coming through. So like the blue did end up coming through, the teal, and as I wanted to go get that color, I just knew that it was under there. So if I drew or dug into it, and circles are a go-to for me because they're easy and I like them. And the ladder is something that is in a lot of my work. Even my big canvases often have a ladder in them. I'm really drawn to that, and also just simple lines and marks. So find your lines and marks, and honestly, it's just that simple. Literally 4 colors of paint. I barely used the raw umber. So that was white, Payne's gray, and the yellow ochre for the most part, and then the black Mark's-All pencil, Stabilo pencil. I did not use the brayer or the palette knife or the pencil. So anyway, you don't know what you're gonna need until you get started. So have fun and go create on top of that messy background that you made.